Manly off that Golden Point loss to Souths. Newcastle off the win against Canberra. They are both looking for 2 premiership points as we launch another NRL afternoon in Mudgee. And with a big run-up, it's this exciting young prospect, Leo Thompson, taking the first charge for the Knights. Straight into a man who made 50 tackles last week, Jake Trbojevic. There's one this afternoon. And now, Dom Young coming forward, powering his way into the defence. They shift and find Lockie Fitzgibbon. Been there for every game so far, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, after some injury problems in the past. Let's hope all that is behind him. As we see Saifiti, and now the man who's brought so much joy to Newcastle fans, Lockie Miller. What a start to the season he has had. And Jackson Hastings completes a rock-solid set for Newcastle. Down the ground to Ruben Garrick, and Manly get back to their 30-metre line.
Yeah, nice and controlled and disciplined start there from the Newcastle side. A little bit of ball movement, just trying to keep Manly out of collision. The one thing they've done really well to start the year has been their line speed and their numbers into tackles and the brutality in which they've gone after sides physically. Good start from Newcastle as Harper bent back hard there. Good strong tackle from Tyson Gamble over the top.
Harper playing his first NRL game of the season. Here's Josh Aloiai. Midway through the set, Tom Trbojevic across halfway. Manly playing in black armbands today in memory of Jack Lumsden. Sea Eagle number 66, 2 tries in the 51 grand finals. The kick goes high down the ground. It's taken, and taken comfortably by Marzu and Lumsden. It's a famous rugby league name, isn't it? His brother Eddie, 9 premierships at St George. So our thoughts with family and friends of Jack Lumsden, Manly Sea Eagle number 6, gone at 93 years of age. Here's Gagai. 22 origins, 7 appearances for Australia, and now 250 NRL games. Johns gets the ball away. And now Tyson Frizzell, still 5 short of halfway, 4 tackles gone. Brayley runs into some treatment there from Josh Aloiai. He spoke this week about wanting a big game, Josh Aloiai. There's a big stop. Hastings, the kick down the ground to Garrick again. In fact, it's Tom Trbojevic, 10 metres out, making the catch and taking 10 more metres. Sideline, Lara Pitt.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon to everyone at home. Pleasant conditions here this afternoon after scorching heat to open this season. It feels like we've really turned a corner towards the cooler months. A very enjoyable 17 degrees, no breeze to speak of, and that's good news for Daly Cherry Evans. He kicked a 20-40 and a 40-20 here last year.
Yes, he'll be looking to do it again, and boy, is he capable. Wonderful record, Daly Cherry Evans.
Just having a look at the new way that fullbacks play now. We see the Roosters do it a lot through Tedesco, but Trbojevic late in the tackle count, 4th or 5th tackle.
Here's Olakau'atu blocker bursting through the line. Support in field is Tom Trbojevic. Hamole, Olakau'atu goes it alone. The defence held off, and Hamole spots a big opening. What a show of strength. What a start by Manly.
Yeah, nothing doing, and it was the Manly side just offloading the footy, and then all of a sudden it was Cherry Evans that turned the ball back inside to Olakau'atu. Started with Tom Trbojevic, gets the offload around the corner to Cherry Evans. The double pump, the back inside, and he just gets rid of Gamble, spins out of the tackle, gets rid of another. And then look at looming on the inside. Look at the work here from Lachlan Miller, who it's as though the dead ball line was what he thought was the try line. He just stood there and watched and waited Olakau'atu, and he couldn't believe his luck as he just accelerated. Watch this, he just thinks, well, he's not even coming at me, Miller. Well, and just dives over the line. Incredible stuff there from Lachlan Miller. The block Olakau'atu, what a season he's having.
Yeah, Miller was just having a look at him, just thinking, oh no, have a look at this. It's a runaway train. Individual brilliance there. Just have a look at how many things he had to do. First bust the tackle, spin out, change the ball in the other hand, brush away from another tackle, runs there at Miller, as you mentioned, in the dead end goal area. He sees that he's not coming off his line to make the tackle and says, you know what, I don't need you back on the inside, Tommy. I'll score this one myself.
You're right, Lockie Miller He was on the edge of the Cudgegong River, didn't realise he was in the in-goal. Got the dimensions all astray in his mind, and as a result, Amole Olakau'atu just galloped in. And now Reuben Garrick. He's kicked 10 from 12 on this grounds. And there's another 2 points, 6-0, the perfect start blocker.
Yeah, you know, the thing I'll talk about with this run when we see it again is just his ability and his power to skip out of tackles, but he keeps moving his legs. He doesn't slow down. Just have a look at this, standing start. Back on the inside, fends away from one, explodes, changes the ball, skips out of another tackle. Then Miller doesn't come off the line. He had an option there to turn the ball back on the inside to Tommy.
Unbelievable.
I don't need you.
Unbelievable that. I don't know if I've ever seen that at this level in the NRL. He just has to have thought that the dead ball line was the try line, Miller. He didn't even move towards Olakau'atu.
So back underway, the Newcastle fullback who's had so many exciting moments over the first month has a bad moment, a forgettable one right there, just mixing up the markings on the ground. You saw him go to make the move to start the tackle, and Amole Olakau'atu was already over the goal line.
Well, the big thing coming in this game for Manly after their disappointing loss in Golden Point last week was whether they'd come out of the blocks and start well. Well, there's Newcastle's answer straight away.
Tom Trbojevic shovels it on for Parker. He's taken to ground but rolls a few more metres. Gagai made enough contact to fell Parker. Kelma Tuolangi on that left edge, working with Parker and Garrick. Now the kick from Daly Cherry Evans, high down the ground. It's taken by Miller, who sends it back infield for Dom Young into Taniela Paseka. How did Newcastle respond to that charging Amole Olakau'atu and try? Force an offload, it's cleaned up by Lockie Miller. Trying to win back-to-back games, Newcastle, for the first time since rounds 1 and 2 last year. Struggling for some consistency that they hope to find early in 2023. Hastings goes long and Gagai stopped by Parker. That'll be a good battle. Parker and Gagai, two very good defensive centres. Miller again. Always a good crowd in it. Glen Willow Sports Complex it is again. Fantastic rugby league part of the world. Homes to Group 10, Raji Dragons. An offload allows them to come through the middle to a Polatu, running off his fellow winger, Reuben Garrick. Here's Aloye, who we're told went on report earlier in the game for a late tackle. Jake Trbojevic to Paseka, the two starting props. Drew Trbojevic, on it goes for Daly Cherry Evans, just holding the ball, asking questions, now stopped by Best. Last play for the Sea Eagles, 20 metres into Newcastle's territory. Harper at dummy half to Johns. Cooper Johns goes high, end over end, down to Miller, who jumps and with no one around him is able to chew off a good return. And now he loses the ball, does he? Play on the call.
He regathered it on the way down there. Looked like the strip was on there. Good chase through from the Manly side. Had to use another kicker there. That time Johns under no real pressure. Cooper Johns puts up a good kick downfield.
That one's dropped. It was Gagai having the ball slapped free of his possession. The contact jolting the ball out, so Manly come up with good ball here. Harper. Ball comes out. And Olakau'atu again just accelerates into the defence. Paseka, he's 10 metres out. And a set restart here for the Sea Eagles. Real pressure on the Knights. 8.5 minutes gone, 6-0 to the home team today. Harper to Ipolotu for the corner. He got there. Manly like it. The defence came across, but Christian to Ipolotu. will be awarded the try, or will he?
Coming up to tackle 2. We have a no try. Reviewing touchline, please.
Yeah, it was really nice work. I'm not sure where Greg Marzu was going on the read, but Best coming across. Tui Pelotu, does he get the ball down?
Just looking to see if there's a grounding.
Well, from that angle he does, absolutely. It's just a matter of where his back foot is there.
Just need to see if his feet are in the air or on the touchline.
The reaction from his teammates suggested he'd
His
scored.
feet
They
remain
were
in the field
right
of play.
there and celebrated instantly.
Fascinating, Matty. Like, just watching him over the last set
The
or
ball
two,
is
he's been
grounded
with
in
the
the
trainer.
in-goal
He's had a lower leg
while the player
injury.
is still in the field of play.
And it
We
was
have a
great
decision.
skill from Morgan Harper. An awful read from Greg Marzu, just wedging in field. The ball was allowed to get to Harper, who instantly got on the outside of the jam of Marzu and just summed it up nicely. Gave the ball instantly to Tui Pelotu, again getting some more tape on this leg. Watch the replay here. So Cherry Evans, he gets knocked in collision. And there's Marzu just caught in no man's land. Best did well to try and maintain the tackle on Morgan Harper, as well as cover across onto Tui Pelotu. He did very well, Best, almost saved the try. But a nice finish from Christian Tui Pelotu, and Manly 10-0 after 9.5 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you what's noticeable for me so far watching the game. It's just the speed of the play the ball of the Manly side, twice as quick in that middle there than what the Newcastle Knights are. That was a great finish. Best almost aided him, pulling him over on top of him. He tried to put the ball down there. Tui Pelotu gets the try, and looks like he scored that try injured too. As you mentioned, the trainer's with him a little bit earlier, but gee, they got some potent attack on both sides of the field, this Manly team.
They'll need to improve defensively, Block. That left-hand side of Newcastle, that's twice that they've just dismantled them with ease.
Ruben Garrick from the western sideline, and it's away. A rare miss from Ruben Garrick in 2023. Christian Tui Pelotu, Lara, the Tongan international, 11 tries in 19 first-grade games last season. Bright start here, but he's got a problem as well.
Yeah, great try-scoring effort from Tui Pelotu, considering he'd been down with the trainer for the set prior, looking to the bench, looking uncomfortable with that right knee, but he still managed to get across for a very acrobatic try in the end. He's had it heavily strapped there. You can see him is trying to run it out. We'll keep an eye on it.
Thank you, Lara. Good start by Manly despite that injury problem, and Aloiai going on report. A double-figure leads. Fast time. After this one, off to Wollongong. St George Illawarra against the Dolphins as Kenny Bromwich reaches game 300, but a mistake here by Manly from the kickoff opens the door for Newcastle.
Yeah, nice shot, Jack Johns under Taniela Paseka, forcing the error.
Brayley and Saifiti. Daniel Saifiti just meters out. I'd love to score here and steal some momentum back. It's Hastings, Flats, Thompson, taken to ground by Olakau'atu. And a set restart as well, Brayley. And Johns, the man who won possession for the Knights. So plenty of tackles to work with. It's Jackson Hastings to Gamble. Gamble gets the offload away. Gagai, he jumps around. But it's Aloiai around his legs. Another set restart. Hastings. Now Johns kicks. A grubber. Thompson getting through. Was he held back? Leo Thompson didn't get the ball in time, and yeah, he appeals.
Yeah, there might be a sin binning here.
Grant.
I'll tell you what, I'd like to see the replay to see if he would have got there to score. The bounce of the ball gets pulled back.
There's a jag back for Manly, which I believe is a professional foul.
Yeah.
A penalty try here.
Great skill from Jack Johns, recognising that Tom
Kick chase from Leo
Trbojevic,
Thompson's onside.
he's not there behind the line. He was coming across Tom, but not in time, and it's Olakau'atu that makes...
Well, you know what?
Kamali
He's still
Olakau'atu
first to the
grabs
ball there,
Leo
even though he
Thompson
got pulled
unfairly.
back.
Just need to look at the possibility of a penalty try here.
It's Grant Atkins in the mobile bunker, and watch the arm pull here from Olakau'atu on Leo Thompson just before that moment.
They're checking whether
Based on the
Cherry
proximity of Daly Cherry Evans,
sin bin, no
we
penalty
will be going
try.
with a professional foul rather than a penalty try. We have a decision.
Gee, if he doesn't get pulled back there, does he win the race to the ball?
Ollie. Molly, mate.
It's a good argument, Blocker.
Yeah.
But given the proximity of Daly Cherry Evans, Grant Atkins can't rule on the try. As a result, it's a 10-minute breather coming for Hamole. The first try scorer of the day has had an involved first 11 and a half minutes, but he'll watch the next 10.
Wait, Jaden, wait.
Good kick from Jack Johns, man who has played plenty of backline rugby league before going to edge forward now, middle forward role. Here he waits, one off the ruck to the right. They go to the left. Jackson Hastings gamble tipped on by Best. It's cleaned up now. Marziu wrapped up by Jake Trebojevic along with Morgan Harper. Gamble at the 10-metre line, long to Johns, flung to ground. Good tackle, Paseka, one-on-one, Brayley. Hastings, cut-out ball, Best 2-on-1. Easy as that for Newcastle. Best to Greg Marziu, and there's an answering try, just what the Knights needed.
Yeah, really good attack from the Newcastle Knights halves pairing, recognising that they just needed to attack the space where Ola Kawatu had been defending. He's been sin-binned, so short on that right-hand side. There's the kick from Jack Johns, and just the moment that Ola Kawatu just put his hands on Leo Thompson, that's enough to go to the sin bin. And then Hastings, along with Gamble, swinging out to that left-hand side. You could see Tui Pelotu, similar to down the other end from Marziu, just jamming in, coming up with nothing. Best did the rest and found Greg Marziu, the former Titan, who picks up his third try in 2 weeks.
He got a double last week in his debut too. Marziu just finishes off there. Best could have scored himself there.
Yep.
The double pump. They got the overman. They had 3 sets on the line of Manly's there. They come away with the points. And they were pretty well settled. They didn't panic. That was a big thing. A man down now for the Manly side. They got the overlap.
I mean, how often do we see when someone's sin-binned, the opposing side just doesn't attack where that player left from the field? Well, that was really good from Newcastle. They had a shot there, they went away, and then they came back again. It was nice work from this man, Jackson Hastings.
He was none from 2 last week. Jackson Hastings, a tricky one first up this afternoon, but it's waved away. Well, that was deceptive. It looked like he'd kicked that, Jackson Hastings. The touchies in a better position than we are. They say no goal, 10-4 to Manly.
Yeah, it's a really nice pass, isn't it, from Hastings? Just recognised that Tui Pelotu was jamming in hard, land the pass perfectly for Bradman Best. Greg Marziu, he's been a very good pickup for them. He had 200 metres carrying the ball last week, 12 tackle busts, Matthew.
Yeah, he was strong at the Gold Coast and has brought that strength to Newcastle, part of that swap deal with Chris Randall. As I was mentioning earlier, straight after this, off to WIN Stadium, Wollongong, Dragons, Dolphins. Plenty of big ins for both of those teams. Then Brisbane against West Tigers. That's unbeaten v winless.
Yeah, you get the feeling that's a big game in Wollongong, don't you?
Both
for
games
the Dragons. Yeah, well, the Tigers, yes, absolutely. Compelling viewing on a Saturday, Super Saturday on Fox, that's for sure.
But you're right, it is huge for the Red V, having given up 40 points in their last 2 games. They've conceded 98 points in their 3 outings. They have won 5 straight in the gong. Here's Thompson again, careering forward. That try has provided some energy to Newcastle. Gamble looks inside, takes the tackle from Paseka. The arm creeping just a little high. And now Hastings with plenty of time. High for Trebojevic. Tom makes the catch and can't get away from Bradman Best.
Yeah, nice set after points there again from Newcastle. I think Lockie Miller had missed his assignment down that left-hand side with Tyson Gamble. A little disappointed that he didn't turn up on his inside, but a nice kick from Hastings.
Both of Manly's wins this season have come at 4 Pines Park. Winning on the road over the last year and a bit has been a bit trickier. But this is what they want to make their regional home. Been here for now 3 years in a row with plans to extend that long term, as a penalty here will make them fall in love with Mudgee just a little bit more.
I like Tuolangi too on the left-hand side. He's the man that won the penalty there for the Manly side. Kick for touch here and get straight away back on the attack.
Complement each other well, don't they? Tuolangi and Amole Olakawatu, left and right, plenty of strike. Just watching the Manly side, that was a needed penalty, Matty. I just got the feeling that after a strong start, fatigue was starting to kick in. You just wonder how much effect they're still feeling from that Golden Point game last week.
Staying all over Kelma Tuolangi for a long time, the Newcastle defence. As a result, they invite trouble as Manly go through Cooper Johns, now Aloiai. He was so remorseful after that error that invited the Lachlan Ilias field goal last week. Johns went flat for Jake Trbojevic. It was forward and knocked on, and it breaks down for the Sea Eagles. But yeah, Josh Aloiai had that horrible moment, but he spoke wonderfully. And his teammates said, it's only footy, everybody makes mistakes, but he came here, Josh Aloiai, hell-bent on making up for that blunder last week.
Yeah, it was nice work there, Cherry Evans just swinging from that right-hand side to the left, but it was Jackson Hastings that was just up out of the defensive line that just unsettled the Manly attack there. It was nice work from Hastings.
They're playing for the Malcolm Reilly Trophy. These two clubs for the 17th time today. From the back of the scrum it goes to Gagai. Of course, Malcolm Reilly played at Manly. He coached Newcastle. There it is. Manly winners 10 times and holders of the Malcolm Reilly Trophy. Up for grabs again in Mudgee. Now Gamble for Hastings, who goes flat, and Lachlan Fitzgibbon pulls his way through. Here's Miller. Miller was waving Bradman Best infield. Now he jumps around and takes the tackle. Did he get a little lost there again, Lachlan Miller? Anyway, he'll play it 15 metres out. Best for Hastings at the 20-metre line. Gamble. Saul Frizzell was a long way away and held the pass. Now he comes back the other way, straightening into Jake Trbojevic and Daly Cherry Evans.
No, Jake, push it, no! Mate, you're not going to take it out of my head. You slowed it down.
So Chris Butler just getting the play the ball he wanted. And now Saifiti on the charge. Jack Johns goes in, bursting straight through the middle, playing against his brother for the first time. The first highlight goes to Jack Johns.
Yeah, great ball here from Saifiti on the back of a slow play the ball. The Manly side just unable to react. As Matthew father watches on closely, so too Mum Trish. They'll be proud. Beautiful moment here. And it's just a little change in angle there from Saifiti as he veered out. He attracted two defenders, and it's a beautiful short ball from a big man on the outside of Aloiai. Tuolangi unable to make the stop, and a great timed run from Jack Johns. Look at this as he accelerates. Beautiful short ball, and just breaks through the tackle, and under the post he goes.
Well, you know, the great thing for me is that Daniel Saifiti normally tucks the ball under his arm and just charges. He's starting to learn his trade now. That was a beautiful pass. And what a start to the game Jack Johns has had.
He came into the starting 13, Kurt Mann, on that 11-day stand down because of a head knock. And Jack Johns, who won a charity shield here with South Sydney, returns now with the club where it all started, Newcastle. And speaking with Cooper before the game, he confirmed, yep, never played against each other, Jack and Cooper Johns, as Hastings from right in front levels up at 10-all.
Yeah, gee, it's so good to see a bloke improve. And that's Jack Johns there on camera, but just Daniel Saifiti going at the line, slowing down. Beautiful short pass. That's a great ball, sets the try up. In the middle third of the field, you split up the front row and the back rowers. Just picks out one. It's a beautifully timed pass, but equally as good gap running there by Jack Johns to score. Newcastle, after being down 10-0, have fought their way back. Haven't they got some ticker?
So 10-0 to Manly, and the next 10 points to the Knights. And Saifiti comes back. The Knights still missing his twin to suspension until round 8.
It's been good, Brayley. Every time there's been some ruck speed, he's been out of dummy half, particularly the last couple of minutes. And geez, Manly have just fallen to pieces after a brilliant start. Olakawatu off the field, and hasn't it been a costly one? 2 tries to Newcastle.
So some blood on the face of Jaden Brayley, and we shouldn't be surprised perhaps by this fight from Newcastle. They had to fight against West Tigers against all sorts of odds, likewise against Canberra last weekend for their 2 wins. The kick from Newcastle, taken by Garrick. The chase is good.
Well, I think the big thing after they were down 10 points to nil, they've completed 9 out of 10. They're completing at 90%. So to get themselves back into the game, they needed to do that. And they've done it well.
Yeah, Hamole Olakau'atu has just come towards the sideline. He's nearing a return, which will be a massive boost. He was enormous, wasn't he, to start the game?
Newcastle running in 2 tries against the 12-man Manly team. They'll be keen to get Hamole Olakau'atu back out there.
High tackle.
Now, a high shot as Hamole counts down the seconds. You think he's bound for a sky blue jersey later this season, Stephen?
Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty close. I mean, you know, you've got to have a couple of forwards on the bench. If he doesn't start, imagine him coming on, Mick. What a great player he is.
Have a listen here to Chris Butler.
What's up? Direct contact to the head from Fitzgibbon.
Oh, contact's direct and it's forceful, mate. You're in the bin.
Oh, well, there you go.
So the second sin binning of the game. Hamole Olakau'atu about to come back for a professional foul. And he'll go on as soon as Lachlan Fitzgibbon gets off for high contact. You heard the explanation. Forceful direct contact to the head, 10 in the bin for Newcastle's left edge forward.
Just watch how quickly Daly Cherry Evans and Tommy Turbo sum that up. They'll go straight to where he's supposed to be defending. Work a couple in and away they'll go.
You happy with that, Michael, or was it a little too harsh?
I thought penalty was enough for that.
So the Knights take a turn with 12 as Kepi comes at them and ends up on his back in a good tackle. Thompson along with Brayley. Here's Cherry Evans running towards that side of the field where Fitzgibbon has just left. Harper, 12 metres out. The conductor, Daly Cherry Evans, long. Croker just hands it off for Jake Trebojevic. The power inside the 10.
Coming back on Matty.
So 13 on 12 now. Cooper Johns, catch and pass. Now Tom Trebojevic for Brad Parker, who's felled right on top of the goal line. Good tackle, Gagai, along with Tyson Frizzell.
He said try.
Hang on, it's a try, is it?
I don't think Parker thought he'd scored there. He got up to play the ball.
They'll check him out. I had the ball in the line. They'll check that out.
So Chris Butler perhaps is the only man who thinks that Brad Parker has scored. And he's the most important.
Well, it was Cherry Evans who found Johns, who found Tom Trebojevic in a nice short ball. Gagai just hesitated for a moment.
He's short. Double movement. If he gets there, it's a double movement.
Well, you'd think that the first movement might be called momentum, but then the ball did seem to be stopped short. Mick Ennis, you take over. You're in the mobile bunker. Over to you.
Well, he's gone upstairs and said try. I think the first one's momentum, and then I think the ball rolls on towards the try line. Now, they'll obviously look at that first
just need to
movement.
review a possible promotion of the ball, please, for double movement.
Well, for mine, just have a look how he's pulled up
Brad
so
Parker
short
has the ball
here.
tucked under his arm here.
Right, momentum then, and then he advances the ball.
Yeah.
And he ends up promoting it again onto the line.
Yeah, no, you're right.
We have a decision.
Like that first one on that side on angle, there's no doubt he promotes the ball.
Let's go, guys.
Is that a double-double movement?
Yeah, I got it, mate.
20 metre per...
Luckily, there's no sin binnings for that. So no try, but the tackle needs to be congratulated again. Dane Gagai, Tyson Frizzell had work to do and did enough.
Well, you can generally see the reaction from the player. Brad Parker got up to play the ball. He knew he was short.
Yeah.
So 21 and a bit minutes gone. 2 tries each. Who's winning this battle so far, men? It was a powerful start by Manly, then some resilience from Newcastle to fight back, aided by the Olakau'atu sin binning. It's all square on the scoreboard. Is that how you see it on the field at the moment?
He's been really strong, Dong Young, as he earns a penalty. You're right, it was a blockbusting start from the Manly side. Got out there a 10 points to 0 lead and looked like they were going to do it easy here. And Newcastle found their way downfield, and it was Olakau'atu, you're right, that was sin bin, and from that moment on, it's been Newcastle that have dominated the second 10-minute period of the game. And some good resilience on their goal line. Good tackle, as you said, from Frizzell, enough to stop Parker, and Newcastle now in good attacking position.
Hastings and Gamble go to Thompson. His twin played for the All Blacks late last year. Great pedigree, Leo Thompson for Newcastle. Gamble to Frizzell, caught flat-footed, has to surrender in the run. And it all breaks down for the Knights. In good position, though. Centre field, 20 out. Thompson again, running off Matt Croker. Fresh legs out there for Adam O'Brien. Here's Croker again, ball playing middle of the field. Hastings on now for Miller. Gagai went for the quick pass. It was charged down by Ruben Garrick. And touched by Manly. A fresh set here for the Knights. Brayley out of dummy half with Saifiti in his pocket. And Saifiti powering and twisting. Saifiti might have scored here.
Grant, coming up to tackle one, mate. We have no try. Just confirming he never gets to the line.
That's nice work from Jaden Brayley again, who's had a tremendous start to the game, and a little bit of footwork, enough to get rid of the marker, and then comes out direct and finds Daniel Saifiti close to the line, one-on-one.
Daniel Saifiti maintains possession, just need to determine if he gets to the line or not.
Yeah, looks short
At this
there,
stage, it looks short.
It's a nice little play, isn't it? Look like you're going to go to the left edge and then a little jump play back.
Close.
The ball remains short of the goal line. We have a decision.
And again, some good desperation, both sides on their goal line. Just enough to repel the opposition.
Tackle one, yep. Wait.
So you heard it, though. Tackle one. Because of that Ruben Garrick involvement a moment ago. Hastings tipped on here for Dom Young. Close to the line. This time they get there. Beautiful play. Lockie Miller, Gagai, Dom Young on the end of it all. And now Newcastle from 10-0 down have the lead.
Yeah, the left edge there of the Manly side all at sea. Some moving up, some staying back. And it was nice work again from Hastings, getting his hands on the ball. You can see there it was Tuolangi that was caught in. Johns had to react and cover in behind. And it's very difficult to try and stop Dom Young that close to the line. He's so big and powerful, just lowered his bumper bars there, and Johns did well to get underneath, but such a tall, powerful man, he just fell over the line. Great skill from Miller, just enough to tap the ball on.
He did well there, Johns, to get across there. He just checked back on the inside, but when you're tackling a big man like that, he's a great finisher. His eyes would have lit up there, Young, straight over the top. Now, after they were denied a try at the other end, Manly and the Knights were good enough to go the full length of the field, get the repeat set.
Comes on the back of another penalty and a set restart, which is just enough to invite Newcastle down on Manly's line, and as desperate as they were to keep Saifiti from going over, they'd like to be better than what they were defensively on that left edge then. They've been brilliant to start the year, Manly defensively, and a couple of soft tries now.
I can't believe that Young wasn't picked in the side last week. Was he out injured, Matty, or because he signed with the Roosters, they left him out? But
look at this from Hastings from the sideline. Tough kick, but he makes it. He's 2 from 3 today. Adam O'Brien likes the scoreboard. Yeah, Dom Young obviously signed to join the Roosters. He wasn't picked last week, which raised eyebrows across the league. Not named originally for today. It was meant to be Hymel Hunt on a wing, but Dom Young comes back and the England international says, just try leaving me out. Leave me out at your own peril. As we go sideline to Larapik.
Yeah, in fact, he was dropped to New South Wales Cup last week, this man on screen, Dom Young. He scored a try there, but is a late addition to the squad today, given that injury to Hymel Hunt. That's his 3rd try of season 2023 and want to remain in the top line squad.
Lara, just looking at the breeze from up here, it was starting to build when we were down there pre-game. It looks to be really favouring the Newcastle side now.
I don't feel like there's too much of a breeze down here right now. It seems to have died off a bit, Mick, but we'll keep an eye on that.
Just watching the kicking game at both sides, it seems like Hastings has got another 10 or 15 metres length on Cherry Evans, which is strange.
Your application for the Weather Channel has just been rejected.
Sorry, Mick.
As we look at flags, Matthew, they're certainly blowing. I gave Lara an opportunity there.
Final play here for the Knights. As we see Hastings go high, looking to use that wicket breeze. Instead, it's taken comfortably by Tom Drabojevic at the back, and he's pinned in his 20-metre zone. No room to work in after making the catch.
Well, let's pay some credit here to the Newcastle Knights after being down 10 points to 0.
Yeah.
Gee, they've shown some ticker, haven't they? They've got them there. Now they've completed 13 from 14. Get themselves right back into this game. This is a real contest.
They're just out enthusing Manly at the moment. They're running the ball a lot harder. Oh, he just pulled up there, Sean Keppie, didn't he?
Got that knee heavily strapped too.
We'll follow him after the play the ball here. Did he get tangled with a teammate, or is there a problem with that knee? As Tom Drabojevic goes to the line, Bullimore looking to offload. Couldn't find anyone in the right position. Now it's Tom Drabojevic getting the pass away. Parker with Garrick infield. Brad Parker goes alone. That is Manly Sea Eagles at their best. They're a long way from the sea, but they were flying like eagles right there.
Yeah, one of their unsung heroes, and he's been tremendous for them, Lachlan Croker, and it is beautiful play out of dummy half. He recognises that they're short on the short side, knows where Tom Drabojevic is, gets out of dummy half, engages Gagai, and then gets Tom on the run over the advantage line. A beautiful pass to Brad Parker, who summed it up beautifully. Nice little show on Lockie Miller, who fell for the dummy, but it's Tommy Drabojevic starting to make his mark in Mudgee block.
Yeah, that's got to be a little bit of a trigger there for the Newcastle Knights. Wherever Tom turns up, got himself on the blind side there. Must have been an overcall straight away. He saw something straight up there. And, Parker scores a try. He had options on the outside with Garrick, and then another option back on the inside, but decides to throw the dummy and scored, but put it down to Tommy, identifying that they didn't have the numbers on that short side. And Manly, away they go.
Michael Ennis, I'll come to you as a premiership winning hooker in a moment about Lachlan Croker, who's barely missed a game since replacing Api Coruscant as the regular number 9 at Manly. Now 85 games into his career. Here's Ruben Garrick, levelling us at 16, so it's a close, exciting battle in Mudgee, and Lachlan Croker is right in the centre of it. Talk to us about his development during 6 seasons at the Sea Eagles.
Well, he came through as a halfback, and so he obviously understood the game very well, and his tempo around the ruck has been exceptional. He uses great footwork, which then allows him to use some variety around the ruck, and they've got such a versatile forward pack, Manly. They can all do different things with their different body shapes, and he uses them perfectly, but none more so than his combination around the ruck with Cherry Evans and Daly Cherry Evans.
Turn from that shoulder niggle. Saw him miss a couple of games, so Manly with him back in the team today. Here's Sean Keppie, seemingly free after that injury scare a moment ago. If in fact it was an injury scare. Bullimore greeted by 3 Newcastle defenders and driven sideways. Less than 2 minutes remaining for Lachlan Fitzgibbon in the sin bin. Those stats for Tom Drabojevic in Mudgee: 2 games, 2 wins, 2 tries, basically 200 metres in each game here. He loves it. Now again, it's Croker infield for Tom Drabojevic to take tackle 5. Croker kicks, it's a low grubber. Down for Lockie Miller. And Miller hairs towards the centre of the field, showing it to Marziu, still running. And eventually wrapped up by Harper, who drags him towards this western sideline.
Seeing on that previous set there, it was Croker out of dummy half, and just really nice execution to be able to get the ball back inside of Tom Drabojevic. Another half chance for the Manly fullback.
10 minutes left in the first half. 3 tries each. And Saifiti. Brayley.
Oh, good shot.
Brodie Jones wears a good tackle from who else? Number 10, Jake Drabojevic. Here's Jackson Hastings. Putting it high towards Garrick as Young comes through and makes the tackle. He timed that perfectly. Dom Young pinning his opposite winger on the 10-metre line.
Yeah, we're going to give Garrick a rap there too. He was under all sorts of pressure. He chased and chased hard. Dom Young. Garrick cleans it up at the back.
Parker for Daly, Cherry Evans, quick hands. Harper, wrapped up by Bradman Best. So Fitzgibbon back from the sin bin. 13 on 13 again.
Some of the little effort plays just haven't been there for Manly this afternoon. Their effort from marker and particularly their kick pressure on Jackson Hastings. He's had an age to kick the footy in the first half.
Cherry Evans inside the 40. And that gets caught high. Miller.
That looked like into the breeze to me.
That did look like into the breeze. Maybe we sack Lara from the Weather Channel. Gamble to Marzu. Marzu, the man who set all sorts of weightlifting records at the Titans. Here's Fitzgibbon, should be fresh. Matt Croker catch and pass for Jackson Hastings. Now Miller chimes in. Gagai. Gagai gets away from one. Couldn't position Dom Young outside him. Close call for Manly. Hastings. Now they change direction. Back towards Young. He's going to get a first half double. Smart play from the Knights. They shift it back towards the short side and catch Manly out.
He's turning on a clinic, the Manly halfback today, the Newcastle halfback, Jackson Hastings. This is brilliant vision. Down the short side, they opted to move the ball left to right on a long sweeping shift. Gagai, a nice play. The ball he got on the outside of Parker, then Garrick did well just to slow him up and bring him to ground. And like a play out of touch footy, look this. Hastings back down the short side, great catch and pass. Miller was aware. And the effort from Gagai and Young to reload and be ready to play, just as impressive as Jackson Hastings' vision, but this will look great front on, straight back inside Miller. Excellent catch and pass, and Newcastle back in front. Dom Young, you're right, he's got a great knack of finding the line.
Well, the big thing is you can't clock off, can you? You went straight back up the blind side. It looked like Hastings was going to go for the long shift. It did clocked off back on the inside there. And Dom Young won't score an easier one than that. I think they picked up Parker, who'd missed that tackle a little bit earlier, was a little bit slow to get back into position on the right, on the left side. They come there to go to the left, and then they went back to the right where he was defending. Dom Young in for number 2. Why wouldn't you have him in your team?
Well, Hastings, he had a hand in the first try out to the left-hand side when Marzu scored, and he's had a hand in both Dom Young's tries. He's having quite the afternoon, Hastings.
So Miller takes over goal-kicking duties. Is there a little niggle for Jackson Hastings? Miller adds the extras. It's 22-16. Adam O'Brien looking on from the coach's box at the Glen Willow Sports Complex. He's wearing number 20. He's 21 years of age. Dom Young, 107 kgs, and let's call it 6'6" in the old scale blocker. That's a big boy.
I'll tell you what, if you go to legs tackle him close to the line, he'll just tower over the top of you from 10 metres out, slam the footy down. That's an easy one for him. Stayed alive. Just didn't close off, did they? The Manly side, they just went to sleep. Good play there by Jackson Hastings.
Just over 6 minutes left in the first half. Newcastle back in front. They've had some points in this first half, 38 of them. Both teams did a good defensive effort last week in their respective games. Here's Fitzgibbon. And some of the tackles today have been copybook, but at the same time, points are plenty. Hastings on for Frizzell. Now Brayley running a long way out of dummy half and taking the tackle, in fact. It was Kepi, along with Croker. So Jackson Hastings, general field kicking still, down towards Tom Drabojevic, who comes forward. And he's wrapped up by Gagai and Young. and Gagai strips the ball. Gagai is racing away, but the penalty has gone to Manly. Yep, multiple players in the tackle. Did they time the drop-off imperfectly here? Did the call come? No. Dom Young still had a fistful of jersey. And Dane Gagai stripped the ball. So Parker for Manly, inside the final 5 of the first half.
I think Manly's really worked that hard in this game of footy. It looks like they know, well, we get up the other end, we know how to score. We've got those X-factor players, but it's been a workman-type performance here from the Newcastle Knights of Savo.
7 tries so far in the first half. 4-3 in favour of Newcastle. Croker, called by Daly Cherry Evans on this short side. Olakau'atu, held by the ankle grimly. Tyson Gamble wasn't letting go. Now some words between Fitzgibbon and Olakau'atu. Jake Trbojevic through Cooper Johns. Now Tom, he gets it away for Parker. Early ball, Reuben Garrick, who runs out of room. Last play here for the Sea Eagles. Cooper Johns. Up and down, virtually on the spot. It's lost now backwards. Will that be the ruling? Cleaned up anyway by Newcastle. Your assessment of that set from Manly, gentlemen?
Well, as I mentioned just a little bit earlier, it looks like they're just going through the motions, Manly, knowing that they've got the ability and the players that can get up that other end and score, but the end of set there was poor. And defensively, they've got a lot of drop-off in their defence the last 20 minutes. Not coming off their line as hard as they were early.
Marzu attracting defenders through that central corridor. Now Brayley to Hastings. They go through Frizzell. Gagai Young down the sideline. Called back in field by Hastings. The halfback is surrounded by Manly jerseys now.
Now, Matty, there's a perfect example of the Manly side not coming off their line. They went through the sets of hands there up the short side. And each player ran 10 metres with the footy as they caught and passed. So
yeah, they'll need to fix it, Manly. That left-hand side's been pulled apart now a number of times, and that was just a little too easy, wasn't it? Dom Young just streaking down the far touchline. Great skill, good catch and pass from the Newcastle side, but they'll need to address that.
So a Newcastle player tackled while not in possession. The reason for the penalty, they get another set. Their biggest lead of the game has been 6 points. They're trying to land the final blow before halftime. Gamble towards Olakau'atu, who makes the tackle. Now Jaden Brayley. Here's Croker. Passing for Hastings. Kicking towards Dom Young in the air. They take no chances, Manly. Garrick it is. Going airborne and swatting the ball over the dead ball line.
Gee, that was tough for Garrick, because you have a look at the replay. He was looking in field, had to turn around and chase again. Perfectly weighted kick for Hastings. He's having an afternoon out. I think Mick mentioned a little bit earlier, he's had an age to put the kicks where he's wanted to, but you've got to give a rap to both players there. Garrick had to turn around and chase, knocks the ball dead in goal. Manly forced into a line dropout.
When it left the boot, it looked like a red-hot chance for a first-half Dom Young hat-trick. Reuben Garrick saves the day. There's still time for the best part of a full set here to the Knights.
I hope they throw caution to the wind just before half-time here. They're in attacking zone now, 30 out. I reckon they should go for it here, Newcastle.
Hastings. This time the distributor has a run instead, Matt Croker. Gamble at the line, he's crunched. His pass taken by Fitzgibbon. 2 plays left. Gamble at the 10-metre line. Brodie Jones through their hands. Good tackle, one-on-one. Brad Parker shuts Jackson Hastings down on the spot. That's tackle 5.
Last tackle.
And crunch for Jackson Hastings. Gamble just hangs it in the air. Tuipulotu flies.
Great take.
And Manly survive. So some great goal line defence. The Brad Parker tackle, the Christian Tuipulotu take.
Yeah, and Gable in all sorts of trouble now for the Newcastle Knights. He's just hobbling around to get himself to half-time and will be treated. It's like an ankle problem at the moment. It was a great shot from the Manly side. Parker come in and shut down Jackson Hastings there. And there's the half-time siren.
7 tries in the first half. Manly led it 10-0. It's been level at 10-all and 16-all. As we head to the break, it's Newcastle in front, 22-16. We are set for kick-off in the second half. Round 5 Super Saturday. It is Newcastle kicking towards the southern end of the Glen Willow Sports Complex. And Manly take the kick-off and look to eat into this 6-point deficit. The first half, Newcastle dominating possession and territory, completing 19 of their 20 sets. They hold a 22-16 advantage into the second 40. And Manly, 2 from 2 in Mudgee, needing a second half comeback to go 3 from 3.
I reckon they might have got a rocket at half-time, the Manly side, just sitting back and just waiting for their superstars to do it. It's a workman-type outfit they're playing against here this afternoon. Can't wait for Tommy Turbo to bung on something for him and get out of this hole at the moment.
94 run metres in the first half, a couple of offloads, a try assist as well, but Newcastle gave him no latitude. And here's Daly Cherry Evans completing the first set in the second 40. Kick out to the wing of Mars Yu, who's safe under the high ball. And Blocker, you had some individuals at Newcastle who you were really impressed with in the first 40.
Yeah, I thought Saifidi was unbelievable in that first stanza there. 70 running metres, 1 try assist, but it's the mix that he's been able to put into his game now. Let's see how he goes in the second half, but he was outstanding in the first.
Lockie Miller at dummy half through Croker, Hastings and Tyson Frizzell with the bumper bars up as he collides with Cooper Johns, assisted by Kelma Tuolangi. And he go forward for Tyson Frizzell. Miller again at the line. Oh, crunch! Matt Croker left the ball behind. He might have left some ribs behind as well. Croker nailed him centre pitch.
It's something that we spoke about in the first half, just how valuable Lachlan Croker is to this Manly side, and probably didn't touch enough on his defence.
Croker on Croker, Mick.
Yeah, his defensive technique for a little man, along with Jake Trbojevic through the middle, has been brutal to start the year, and he's a wonderful defender, Lachlan Croker, and his timing there, perfect on Matt Croker.
A relation, Matt Croker from Nabiac via the Taree Panthers, and of course Lachlan Croker from Crookwell. Same name, and up close right there is from the back of the scrum. Manly look for halfway and find it through Ben Trbojevic. So early in this set, let's go to sideline Lara for some breaking news.
Yeah, Christian Tuipulotu has been ruled out of the remainder of this match. He's succumbed to that knee injury picked up early on. As you can see, Ben Trbojevic is out there in the back line.
Thank you, Lara. That explains Ben's early appearance in this second half. No Christian Tuipulotu succumbing to that knee injury. Thank you, Lara. Now Jake Trbojevic going to Kepi, 30 metres out. Cooper Johns for Tom Trbojevic again. Gagai up in his face and making the tackle. Now, Bullimore was running back onside and almost gets in the way of his own players. They manufacture a kick. It's out towards Dom Young. Did he get a touch to the ball? The bounce for Cooper Johns. Now the kick from Garrick. Gagai swats it dead in goal. And a dropout forced on the Knights.
Yeah, plenty happening there. It was strange old play on the last tackle. You're right, Matty. It was Ethan Bullimore who just come running back through the ruck, and Jake Trbojevic did well to keep the ball alive. Manly players, well, Newcastle want a challenge, so they feel like there was a knock-on from the Manly side.
We have a captain's challenge. Newcastle is disputing the decision of a goal line drop-in. They believe that a player that was out of play becomes involved in play. Tom, explain all that.
And the replay might back them up here.
Ethan Bullimore gets back behind the ruck, so he's in play. There is no knock on from Ethan Bullimore.
The ball come off his hip there, did it?
Yeah, and then goes back towards his own goal line. This would be the play I'd be questioning, but they can't
just
because
looking to see where Jake Trbojevic comes from.
It's a forward
he's
pass.
He's behind Ethan Bullimore when it strikes him, so he's onside with playing onto this point.
Yeah, there's no problem with this. Can't check the whole thing. It's not what they were challenging.
What about that ball, which technically they can't challenge?
No.
Because it's a pass.
Manly will win this.
It's a good breather for the Knights anyway.
But they're not checking this.
No.
Newcastle didn't ask to check this.
There's no evidence to overturn that decision there. We're playing onto this point. The ball then goes dead from Newcastle. The challenge is unsuccessful. We're starting with a goal line dropout.
Yeah. So they decided to check the whole play.
So
anyway, Newcastle they lose their challenge.
Back past that point, that puts him onside. He has to be entitled to be onside. He was behind. At any point, he can go past the ruck and he's onside. It doesn't have to be before he plays it, okay? That's what I was trying to explain to you. So you've got no more challenges now.
So challenge gone.
Yep.
And because Ethan Bullimore had got in behind the ruck when the ball touched him, it's okay.
Yeah.
For play to continue.
Well, massive opportunity here for the Manly side, who gave up some relatively cheap points by their standards in that opening half. Jackson Hastings had a tremendous first half, and now Manly, with their first chance really to attack Newcastle's line, they're going short, Matty.
Lockie Miller, a Rugby Sevens exponent, would know that kick, and it works well. It works really well for Newcastle.
Yeah, the big, tall Dom Young just throws out an arm, hits the ball backwards. Newcastle win that one. He's the man to kick to. What did you say he was? 6'5", 6'6"?
200 centimetres, just beyond 6'6" blocker. With a leap as well, that's plenty of aerial ability. And the Knights benefit from it. Marziu, the other winger, built closer to the ground, but showing us the power as opposed to the aerial skill. Miller through the middle, and Kelmer to Alungi, rocks him and then drives him backwards. There has been some good contact in this game. Hastings with a kick, straight down the ground. Tom Trbojevic, bit of room to move in now for Tom. He comes to Tyson Frizzell. And takes tackle one. Lara sideline, what was said at halftime?
Yeah, just Anthony Seibold really disappointed with that first half effort from Manly. He said not the mentality they were looking for to come here with at Mudgee. Wants to get back on top, particularly through the middle. From Adam O'Brien, said to his troops, not going to finesse their way to victory today. They also need to play direct.
And just repeating Lara's earlier news, Christian Tuapolotu, the Manly winger, forced out of the game with that knee injury. It is Daly Cherry Evans driving it low and long, turning. Lockie Miller around, who loses the ball towards the sideline, swats it back in goal, now cleans up. Well, he'll finish with possession, but he lost a few metres there and had a mighty scare along the way.
Yeah, really smart kick there from Cherry Evans. Inside the 40, early in the tackle count, driving it into the corner, catching Lockie Miller unaware. Almost made a meal of it, but now Newcastle really struggling to get back behind the ball. There you see, gee, that went close. Gee, that went close to the sideline.
Gagai with an offload for Brayley. His best, hunting up through the middle. Brazil running off the shoulder of Brayley, but losing the ball. Now it's thrown out towards Parker. It was Olakau'atu shoveling the pass that hit the ground. Brazil losing the ball. Olakau'atu quickly to Parker, and now Manly get a penalty.
Yeah, that was unnecessary from Gagai, the second effort on the ground.
Second effort on the head.
Parker just got on his outside, tried to fend him, and Gagai brought him to the ground. This was nice play from Brayley, had a dummy half who's had a great game, and then the desperation from Jake Trbojevic on his former Origin teammate Tyson Frizzell. Watch the effort here from, just that second one, throwing the shoulder in late. Dane Gagai, now pressure starting to mount for Newcastle.
And this is where Manly come alive now. The whole game in the first half. Every time they got down to this area, 30 out, they attacked brilliantly and come away with points. Now,
Cooper Johns for Bullimore. A wet day in parts of the eastern seaboard, but the sun shining brilliantly in Mudgee. Johns, Daly Cherry Evans. Now the long ball from Trbojevic, meant for Garrick, who puts it down. He had to reach out in front of him, tried to knock it up, but just couldn't get there. The pass from Tom, just off the mark.
Yeah, just out in front of Garrick there. Dominic Young caught infield a fraction. It was good vision from Tom, just couldn't execute the play. Young going for the intercept. Manly players suggesting a touch from Young, but the officials having none of it, and Newcastle hold on.
Marzu comes forward. The Knights on the end of 2 thumping defeats against Manly last season. 42-12, 30-6. But they're in front here and fighting hard. From 10-0 down, it should be remembered. You've joined us late. The first 2 tries going to Manly in a fast start. But again, not for the first time this season. Newcastle showing some fight. Oh, Gagai over the top of Lachlan Croker.
Brayley doing a tremendous job getting players in behind the Manly play the ball. They're scattered now. Look at this.
And Croker's down in back play with a problem. Hastings goes high. Brings Tom Trbojevic forward. Lachlan Croker, the Manly dummy half, is nursing that shoulder again. Is it just a stinger or something more serious? Here's Ben Trbojevic onto that wing for Tuipulotu. Still hunched over just beyond halfway, Croker, as play continues away from him. Harper. Got away from Hetherington. Harper crossing halfway. Nice run. Sean Kepi looking for an offload. That arm got wrapped up just in time by Hetherington. Cooper Johns. High. Lockie Miller comes across in cover. Miller makes the catch and gets drilled on landing. And now another player down and more troubles for Newcastle.
Good shot there. Kepi coming in hard on Bradman Best, and Newcastle really struggling to get back on side here. There's some walking wounded.
Well, play will be stopped here because it's the Crokers in the war. Firstly, Lachlan Croker, now Matt Croker, seemingly carrying a similar problem, that left arm down by his side. So plenty of places to look here. Lara will be busy sideline as Hastings drives the kick back across his body, asking for a cruel bounce to hinder Harper, who gets it safely.
Well, the big thing for me here in the second half, are they willing to get down in the gut of the Manly side? Because I'll tell you what Newcastle are, they're starting to find plenty of inroads right through the middle and doing things a lot quicker now than Manly.
Garrick comes galloping up the middle. Bullimore again. Croker, Lachlan Croker seems okay now. Daly Cherry Evans has the legs wrapped up by Gamble. Final play. It's with Tom Trbojevic, who kicks poorly. The bounce is okay for Lachlan Miller.
He just lost his kicking license there, Tom. That was awful, that drop.
It was terrible, wasn't it?
Oh, the pass from dummy half, not much better from Newcastle.
Poorly was the worst adjective I could bring myself to use when it comes to Tom Trbojevic. But I'll sign off on awful, and as a result, Newcastle are coming back at them.
Yeah, they're getting blown apart through the ruck at the moment. Look at this, Brayley out again.
Daniel Saifidi back out there now for the Knights as Hetherington cops a breather, but that breaks down out near that eastern sideline.
Gee, that was poor there from Bradman Best. Big, powerful runner of the ball. Should have just tucked the ball under his arm and away he goes.
Where's the referee going here?
Wait. Yeah. Let's go. Wait.
Okay, play the ball in the middle of the field. There it is, a turnover now. Manly on their first carry inside Newcastle's half. Well, they need to find some points, Manly. At the moment, they're a little lethargic, aren't they?
Well, Paseka says leave that lethargy behind. He accelerated into the Newcastle defence. Now Jake Trbojevic, DCE, again losing his legs at the 30-metre line. Croker for Kepi. Fresh set. Can Newcastle keep them out again? I've had plenty of time in this part of the field since half-time, Manly. Now Croker, and on the charge again, Olakau'atu. Good tackle, Tyson Gamble, assisted by Fitzgibbon. Olakau'atu was close. Kepi, Cooper Johns, goes through the hands to Parker. Parker to Gagai, who is assisted by Jackson Hastings. One of Newcastle's best today, Jackson. Cooper Johns finds Paseka. Didn't have a lot of room to get going there, Taniela, but still attracts 3 defenders, and that's tackle 5. Croker, Johns, on now for Daly Cherry Evans. Here's Trbojevic. Trbojevic cut down. Newcastle survive. This goal line defence is still working.
Yeah, really nice tackle there from Bradman Best, and he looks in trouble here, Ben Trbojevic, who's been very good since coming onto the field for Christian Tuipulotu. And former junior New South Wales teammates marking each other here. Ben Trbojevic up against Bradman Best, and Best just had the acceleration to bring him down short of the line. Just looks like he gets his leg caught in underneath the tackle there of Bradman Best.
I do like it when he comes on, young Ben, and decides to run.
Yeah.
Been a lot better at it this season. Tucking the ball under his arm and having a go, backing himself.
Well, Trbojevic and hamstring are about to be used in the same sentence again, but it's Ben Trbojevic limping from the field. He knew straight away. So there's another injury for Lara to confirm for a sideline.
Come back on, limping. Can you believe this?
Considerably. Running out of options. Anthony Seibold. So Ben Trbojevic with his hamstring problem. As a result, Christian Tuipulotu, who you'd imagine wouldn't have been used again today apart from necessity. Well, there is a necessity now.
Well, they do have young Kyo Weeks on the bench, who's a very, very good utility player. Spent plenty of time at fullback and in the halves, got great speed. And they've opted to put Tuipulotu out onto the wing.
An offload inside their own 20 from Newcastle. Looking confident. Miller.
I like the confidence of Miller too, getting himself involved right through the middle, trying to use that little bit of speed and footwork. We saw it last week, especially in the second half against the Canberra Raiders. He's a dangerous player.
Here's Thompson. Hastings runs for a long way before kicking the ball. Down for Tom Trbojevic. More and more room presenting itself for Tom, but not a lot of players around him, and he takes the tackle from Tyson Gamble. There's Kyo Weeks, the 21-year-old, the Manly junior. Warming up for NRL game number 7 and maybe his 4th this season. Garrick. And Paseka. The crowd here in Mudgee knowing the delicate point this game is at. Manly trying to lock it up with a converted try here. Still 25 minutes left. They've received good entertainment as Croker angles the kick out towards Marzu. Harper is coming through. Marzu catches, and they'll work it off their goal line again.
He's been good defensively. Couple of last gap tackles there. Lachlan Fitzgibbon, especially in this second half. He's got on his bike. He's made a lot of telling tackles.
Dom Young trying to circle Ruben Garrick and doing so. Tom Trbojevic across in cover. Young, Miller, Hastings, back to Miller. Where's the other support? Miller shrugs away from Daly Cherry Evans. Now Tyson Frizzell. Dom Young caps a magnificent Newcastle try. They've gone the length of the field. Dom Young started it. Dom Young finished it. And any number of players thrilled us in between.
Yeah, back into the side today, Dom Young, and hasn't he been a star out here at Mudgee, and he starts deep inside his own half, skips across Johns, around Parker, gets around Ruben Garrick, absolutely gasses Ruben Garrick, and streaks down the touchline, and inside Lockie Miller was looming. He did well to find him. The Manly defence recovered superbly. Cherry Evans got back, Tom Trbojevic back, Cooper Johns gets back, and then just coming back out to their right-hand side, Frizzell does very well to find Young, who started the play and finishes it. And boy, grabbing a handful of tries out here in Mudgee.
Well,
what a game he's having, Block.
Well, that try is exact desire here, and we've seen it all afternoon here after being down 10-0 from the Newcastle Knights. Dom Young involved into that try. The players that you wanted to get inside there was Miller supporting through the middle, got the ball to Hastings, back to Miller. Tyson Frizzell turns up, and then Dom Young finishes the try, but they all lined up. They all want this win here, the Savo, put themselves even further ahead now. And that is just desire, that try.
Showed great speed, athleticism. He's wonderful in the air. We've seen him get the tap back off the short dropout today. No wonder he was such a target for a number of NRL clubs after a tremendous World Cup, Matty.
And worth revisiting our earlier discussion that he played New South Wales Cup last week, just wasn't picked and not named originally for today. He comes in because of the injury to Hymel Hunt and scores a hat-trick. And there'll be plenty of questions asked, why wasn't he picked last week? Why wasn't he named today? Lockie Miller adds the extras.
Tell you one thing, he won't be out of the side next week.
Absolutely, 28-16. Have a look at this try again in entirety. Dom Young at the start and finish of it, but sit back and enjoy some top-shelf rugby league.
Yeah, the Manly side will be disappointed there. They just needed to keep getting forward. They gave him too much room to move, and at full speed, Dom Young just way too quick for Ruben Garrick. And as much as Manly scrambled, it was brilliant skill and plenty of support there. Plenty of Newcastle jerseys. They're out competing Manly.
Yeah, Tyson Frizzell had to travel an age to get himself. It would have been easy for him just to give up on the halfway line, kept himself alive, and gives the last pass there for another Newcastle try.
And Lara Pitt, you've been busy.
Yeah, Matt Croker, good news for the Knights. Had that shoulder tested. They're confident it's just a burner and he is available to come back into this contest. Not such good news for Ben Trbojevic. He's just had his left hamstring put on ice and he will not feature as expected for the rest of this game.
And as a result, it's Christian Tuipulotu back out there, as Lara reported earlier, nursing that knee injury.
One-on-one strip here. This could be a big moment. This could be a big turning point. The game's starting to get away from Manly.
And they're down by 12. They come up with an unexpected possession. In good position. Still the best part of 22 minutes left. Paseka. Kept to only 16 points so far. Daly, Cherry Evans. Now Tom Trbojevic bumps away from Gagai and gets the pass back to his 5/8. Cooper Johns just handing it off for Kepi. Paseka, the offload. Croker on to Jake Trbojevic. He takes tackle 5. They come the short side. Tom Trbojevic. Now Kelma Tuolangi brushes past Dom Young. Tuolangi goes in. Manly won't go away. This will be game on, you'd imagine, right until full time.
Yeah, it was really nice work from Tom Trbojevic, but it was the one-on-one steal earlier in the set, and I think it's Ola Kawatu who just reefs the ball out of Fitzgibbon's hands. It's been a great battle on the far side. And then on the final play down the short side, it's Tom Trbojevic that's made the difficult look easy at times today. And just playing out the back, the Knights' defensive line just collapses, and Kelma Tuolangi gets Manly right back in the game.
Yeah, Tuolangi, looks like you couldn't stop him that close to the line, but it's the involvement from Tommy Turbo. Always in the game. Young can't make the tackle. Tuolangi gets over for Manly. That's a good hit back. They needed to get started, Mick, and they have.
Yeah, and while this is all unfolded, Kyo Weeks, who is extremely fast and athletic, he's just come onto the field for Lachlan Croker. So Anthony Seabolt rolling the dice, knowing they need some points and a bit of spark around the ruck like Newcastle have been tormenting them. Well, Weeks needs to bring that. He needs to get out and run the footy and A big kick here for Ruben Garrick on the touchline. Huge kick, Matty.
To get it back to a converted try, the difference.
The locals just sledging too. Love it.
Plenty of Manly support in the crowd, but the others having a say. But Ruben Garrick handles the pressure, handles the sideline advice, and makes it 6 points. The difference, 28-22. Kelma Tuolangi, one of the recruits to Manly from a couple of seasons at West Tigers, delivers his first try as a Manly Sea Eagle. And it's game on at the Glen Willow Sports Complex. It'll be game on in the Origin Series coming quickly. You can see the best of the NRL battle together for Origin glory. Tickets on sale now. Secure your seats, nrl.com/tickets. This man might be involved. Namole Olakau'atu. There's Lachlan Croker sideline.
Here he is, Weeks out of dummy half with the first chance. Really sharp.
Kipper Johns to Jake Trebojevic. Weeks, wobbly old pass for Cherry Evans. Quick hands, Olakau'atu. Now it opens up. Here's Brad Parker. Tuipulotu was on the outside. Parker. And it's Harper cut down a metre short. He must have known that Tuipulotu was trying to keep up, hobbling badly on that knee injury. Daly Cherry Evans, another poor pass to DCE. He kicks and it's cleaned up by Newcastle.
Yeah, geez, that was disappointing, that end of set there from the Manly side, because it was beautiful work beforehand, wasn't it? The Knights rushing out, trying to shut down the play, and just great passing skills under pressure from Manly. And a penalty here, and a relieving one for Newcastle.
Oh, that's a big penalty. They were just on the run then, the Manly side. As you said, the end of set there was poor.
Look at this.
Really needs to take control.
Olakau'atu's soft hands to Tom Trebojevic was brilliant.
Is that Fitzgibbon there again?
He's had a mighty afternoon, hasn't he, after being sin-binned in the first half.
So Harper in that replay, you could see it. He just set his sights on the in-goal and charged. The cover got there in time and denied him.
Oh, big man.
Saifiti.
Hiding.
Daniel Saifiti gets the ball away, but the held call had come. We'll go back and play it again.
It's two big bodies coming together there.
Likewise, Kelma Tuolangi and Leo Thompson. Now Hastings. Lockie Miller to Gagai. He just skipped his way past one defender. And he's the milestone man. Game 250. He won his 200th, Dane Gagai. Before that, he lost all his milestone games. Final play, Hastings just measuring this kick. Putting pressure on Trebojevic. It's Dom Young swatting it sideways, still there for Newcastle. Leo Thompson will pick it up. He goes through Gamble. Now Bradman Best. The ball over to the other side of the field. Marziu picks it up. He grubbers back towards the other wing. And Taniela Paseka, he cleans up in goal. And they'll force the dropout.
Just have a look at those Newcastle Knights swarming through there with the kick. Paseka cleans up in the in-goal area for the Manly side. We spoke about Desire a little bit earlier. Look at them pour through here. And it's only the bounce of the ball there. Best with the pass out the back. Just watch him come here after the kick. Watch him pour through. There, Desire, 4 jumpers there in the picture for the Knights.
Not often Tom Trebojevic is made to look like a mismatch in the air, but Dom Young was up above him quite easily there. Keeping possession for Newcastle. Miller. You can see the advantage Newcastle have had in terms of tackled in the opposition 20. They're headed towards that zone again. Gamble. Here's Thompson. The run opening up both sides of the field. They'll go back to the left where Hastings goes to the line. Gamble, Best to Harper. Harper got enough of a grip. Back through Gamble. Hastings calling Crossland underneath, who's out there now. Instead, a long ball to Miller. Gagai at Parker. Gagai still going. Gagai for Tyson Frizzell. It was some sort of offload, but Frizzell couldn't get there. Well stopped. It was Garrick. The shift now towards the other side of the field. Best again. He's held by Harper. Plenty of ball movement from the Knights. They'll go back towards the western sideline. This time Garrick gets there, shuts it down in goal. Back to the 20. 7 tackles up their sleeve. The amount of right to left sideline movement from Newcastle over the last few minutes.
Yeah, when they bring Phoenix Crossland on, they bring in another ball player. Hold on, the referee went down a moment ago. Now we've just seen a Newcastle player just in the middle of nowhere go down.
It's Tyson Gamble. Back to his knees.
You're right, Matty. The defensive questions that Newcastle ask when Gamble comes on. There's Gamble, yeah, look at him stumbling. He's in big trouble. Jeez, that's not good to see.
He'll be off.
So those sort of symptoms mean that you must leave the field. And that signal comes from Craig Catterick. Now here it is. He wore the hip of Garrick.
They did very well to hold on there, Manly. They were stretched from pillar to post. The Knights' ball movement was terrific. A couple of really good tackles. Harper came up with one on Besters.
So that will be Tyson Gamble done for the day with 14.5 minutes left. He must stay off for the mandatory 15. So the adjustments to be made by Adam O'Brien now. What will they be? Who goes where?
Crossland will probably go to 5'8" there, I would say.
Daly Cherry Evans for Trebojevic. Just a converted, try the difference. Jake Trebojevic.
Been outstanding today, Jake Trebojevic.
Kyo Weeks finds Aloye. Last play. Cherry Evans to Tom Trebojevic, back to Kyo Weeks. Jumping around. Weeks! Kyo Weeks works his way through. A squirt of speed, some fast feet, and it's Kyo Weeks over for Manly. They'll kick to lock us up and keep those flags waving.
Yeah, rolling the dice only moments ago. Coach Anthony Seibold injects young Kyo Weeks into a dummy half to provide some spark. Watch his electric speed here. But it's their key man, Cherry Evans, and Tom Trebojevic on the last play, just scheming through the middle. And then Weeks just accelerates, gets rid of Hastings straight through the tackle. Had plenty of work to do to get the ball down. Look at this. Just watch his acceleration and his foot speed. Bang, straight through. Saifiti not even able to get there till the death. And all of a sudden now Manly with a chance through Ruben Garrick to square it up.
Yeah, look at that mismatch there. Saifiti on a fast sprinting Weeks gets over the stripe. He can't make the tackle there. Lachlan Miller. But that's great coaching. Put him on there when they're starting to tire. Manly starting to get a little bit more ball. Speed out of dummy half. Tiring ruck.
He's been a star block in the lower grades. Come from Newington College at Stanmore. Wonderful rugby union and rugby league player.
Ruben Garrick, 3 from 4, becomes 4 from 5, and we are locked up again in Mudgee. High scoring, but close. 28 apiece. Sideline, Lara.
No real surprise with this one, Matty. The HIA official has just ruled out Tyson Gamble for the Knights. Tough going for them. He's been declared a Category 1, which means his afternoon is over.
As will be next week's game against the Warriors, pending maybe some appeal grounds, but on the surface right now, he'll be the subject of that 11-day standout, so he'll miss the Warriors next Sunday as well.
Gee, you like getting into these sort of situations when you've got a bloke like Daly Cherry Evans in your side, the captain of Manly, 28 all, not long to go on the clock. Perfectly situated for him.
He's kicked field goals in 25 games, Blocker, and Manly have won 23 of them. Here he is, number 7. Is his biggest play still to come. 26 NRL field goals in total in 25 games for 23 wins, where he lands a one-pointer.
Yeah, really starting to tire here, Newcastle.
A two-pointer these days. Here's Josh Aloiai. Now, Daly Cherry-Evans for Tom Drabojevic. Kyo Weeks goes long, quick hands to Alangi. Brad Parker 2-on-1. Ruben Garrick for the corner and for the front. Ruben Garrick and this Manly fight back continue to fly.
Well, it's deja vu. Again, it's Cherry-Evans and Drabojevic running it on the last in exactly the same position. Tommy just looming up on the inside of DCE a little further across the other side of the field, but there it is. And again, back to Kyo Weeks. And he fires the ball across to Tuolangi. Brilliant hands. Parker did well to bring in Young. Now does he get there? He lunges. He's a great finisher, Ruben Garrick. Front on will show it. Watch the skill from Tuolangi. Great catch and pass. And then Parker accelerates towards Young, draws him in. Young lunges. And it's Hastings coming across. My word, he gets it down. Yes, he does.
No, it's the other side of the field where Daly Cherry-Evans and Drabojevic started it. Wicks gets a beautiful pass, but it's two money balls here. Tuolangi, catch and pass. Parker, perfectly timed on the outside. And Manly go back to back.
Geez, that's a great try. That is a great try. What a set after points. And for Cherry-Evans and Drabojevic and Weeks to pull off exactly the same sequence, yet Weeks able to find the long pass. Hasn't he had some nice moments? Kyo Weeks, a try and then a long pass out to Tuolangi where the space was.
Well, X Factor's been a term that's got some use this week, and Kyo Weeks certainly bringing some X to Manly. Off the bench with impact as Ruben Garrick shapes up another tricky conversion assignment. This one hooking back and hooking away from the target. So the difference is 4 points. But Ruben Garrick, the 2021 Dally M Winger of the Year, that year 23 tries. It dropped to 12 last season for Ruben, but he's got 3 early in 2023, and he's a fantastic finisher, as that shot shows.
Gee, we've seen some great tries, haven't we? The one a little bit earlier by the Newcastle Knights went 80 metres, and that one's a pearler.
Now the finishing there of Ruben Garrick, oh gosh, that was impressive. Like, you see so many wingers hesitate. He didn't hesitate.
Well, at this rate, Manly's love affair with Mudgee will go up a gear. On target to be 3 from 3.
Is that high?
In the Central Tablelands. There's no whistle, and that's your answer blocker, according to Chris Butler.
Well, Manly went 70 metres in their last set after points and found a try, and already now after 2 plays, they're already up towards the 40-metre line with Aloiai. They are just rolling through Newcastle here, who are fading.
Had 60 points in this game. Still 9 minutes left. It would be a brave person to say we're done with scoring now. There are more points coming, you would think. But by who? And for whom? Daly Cherry-Evans puts it high down towards Marzu. Greg catches safely and goes back beyond his 10. Into Kyo Weeks, assisted by Aloiai. Here's Lockie Miller.
Jack Johns onto the field now for Newcastle and for Adam O'Brien. And tremendous start, wasn't it, for Jack Johns? Scored a great try, but his ball distribution through the middle, I thought, was very, very important for Newcastle.
Had 11 tries, 6-5 in favour of the Sea Eagles. Now Gagai getting away from plenty of would-be tacklers. Cut down by Olakawatu. Brayley, Hastings long, beautiful pass, quick hands likewise, best. And now they're away down the sideline. Marzu. And he's stopped by Cherry-Evans. Hastings kicks. Frizzell is the only man through for the Knights, but it's taken by Manly and they stay in the field of play. The catcher, Brad Parker.
Oh gosh, we've seen some great footy today. Like 32 points for Manly, 28 for Newcastle. It has been end to end. And some of the skill on show. That play out there, that pass out to that left-hand side for the Marju break. Brilliant.
We saw some fantastic defence last night by Melbourne for victory, but before that, points aplenty from Penrith. High scoring here in Mudgee.
Here we go again.
Olakau'atu. What sort of games are we going to get next? In Wollongong, St George, Illawarra against the Dolphins, and then tonight Brisbane against West's Tigers. Jerry Evans driving a grubber along this beautiful surface. The Wembley of the West in Mudgee. I thought Ken Sutcliffe was calling it the Wimbledon of the West, but it's the Wembley of the West. If anyone knows Wimbledon, it's Kenny. Very proud of this fantastic sporting precinct, and it is a precinct now, with more plans to expand and bring more NRL clubs here, not just for games, but training camps and the alike. Jaden Brayley out of dummy half. We're set for a thrilling finish, and the penalty here to the Knights.
On the last tackle, that is a very, very silly play there from Kyo Weeks. They've done very well to manage the set there from Newcastle. Brayley, who's had a great afternoon out of dummy half. And just a blatant strip from Kyo Weeks. And righto, a full set now for Newcastle. Only 4 points the difference. They'll back themselves here.
I was just having a look at their formation there, the Newcastle Knights. So a little bit bunched, maybe. Now they're in the attacking zone. Got some confidence, 30 metres out, here they go.
Tyson Frizzell, who's Newcastle's target? Is it the height and athleticism of the hat-trick hero Dom Young so far? Or does someone else step up, like Matt Croker, going inside the 10? Brayley, now Phoenix Crossland, Hastings standing and now succumbing. Miller, a long ball, Bradman Best! Best goes in, we're locked up again! It's 32 on 32. Newcastle to kick for the lead, and again, it's a tough assignment.
Yeah, poor penalty from Kyo Weeks on the last play. Gave Newcastle great field position upfield, attacking the Manly line, and it's great work down this left-hand side. Brayley, a beautiful pass to Lockie Miller, who's really injected himself again with the footy this afternoon. It got Bradman Best one-on-one on the line there with Morgan Harper, and he just got on his outside, did enough with the right-hand fend and just fell over the line, and what a kick it is now for Lockie Miller.
He's so powerful, close to the line, Bradman Best. Backs himself, as you mentioned, got on the outside of Harper. It was a mismatch then. Best, a big man that close to the line, gets over. Lockie Miller again involved, up that short side. Fullbacks making the extra man, playing an extra 5/8 now.
64 points in Mudgee. Fans are loving it.
Let's keep it going.
So
Not sure the coaches are.
We hang on this conversion attempt. They've used Jackson Hastings today.
Oh, hold on.
And Lockie Miller, but
Oh, hold on.
hang on.
Looking for a potential knock-on from Bradman.
Oh, he's had a whoopsie in him occasionally, Bradman. I thought he got it down.
Bradman Best has the ball in his left hand. He then loses possession and it touches a Manly player, constituting a knock-on.
Hang on, he hasn't lost possession there.
So it's before this. The grounding from there is good, but Grant Atkins in the bunker has spotted a little loss of possession in his eyes into Manly. And there are plenty of Sea Eagles fans here applauding that decision.
It's in his left hand, and as he's changed hands, he's come in contact with the
They're muffling,
which is a knock-on. Scrum in the middle.
muffling the protest from the Newcastle fans in this house.
We can't believe it, Bradman Best. He's serious.
Can't be serious.
Here we go.
Here it is, and he's in the collision there.
Ooh,
Gee whiz. Oh,
Just we're nitpicking now, aren't we?
That water bottle
tough gig, isn't it?
feared for its life.
Yes, it did.
So Daly Cherry Evans to feed the scrum, 10 outs. Just under 6 minutes left. Manly
Oh, high tackle there.
coming back, having been in real trouble not so long ago. We hit the 60-minute mark and Newcastle in front, in control. It's been a big finish by Manly. And now they receive a penalty. Their job gets slightly easier to close this one out.
Just looking at the Manly side, it's Anthony Seibold that's taken off Kyo Weeks and Lachlan Croker back onto the field as Parker carries hard.
Now Kelma Tuolangi, the man who started the comeback. His try in the 59th minute, followed by Kyo Weeks in the 67th, Ruben Garrick in the 69th. That run of 3 tries gets them back out by 4. Aloye.
Good defence again from Jack Johns. Been physical this afternoon.
Paseka surrounded by 3 Knights. Croker, Tom Trbojevic. Another try here will just about get Manly home. And they get a repeat set. The kick towards Marziu in the air. Olakau'atu was up for it. Now the ball comes free, picked up by Manly.
The ball gone backwards there.
Want to challenge it?
Tom Trbojevic, I thought landed short, then got rolled onto his back.
Got a captain's challenge. Manly here challenging the on-foot decision of a knock-on.
What's the tackle from Marziu? Is it Croker that comes through to pick up the ball?
Kick chase is onside. Just looking to see who gains possession first. Manly have possession at this point, take clean possession. Just need some perspective to see the direction of the ball as it comes out.
Marziu pulls the ball out, so it's play on.
Yeah, it's play on.
And then it gets scooped up by Croker. Watch the tackle here from Marziu, who's almost falling over from the previous play.
Greg Marziu takes the ball one-on-one, so we're restarting the tackle count.
He's held up.
The ball did go forward, so it's restarting the tackle count. The ball is not grounded, so we have tackle 0 Manly.
Okay, so knocked on by Marziu in that original contest. Then he has the try saver on Croker. But it's tackle 0 to Manly. 4 minutes left.
I think they'll come left. That's where they've looked really good this afternoon when they've come left with Tom Trbojevic.
Here we go. Paseka. Who's going to have the biggest finish? Manly or Newcastle? Croker, Cooper Johns. Here's Josh Aloye. He'd love to score the final try. Jerry Evans pulls up, goes back the other way. And he's crunched. Phoenix Crossland through on him. Penalty to Newcastle.
Yeah, Olakau'atu just comes in and gets hold of Lachlan Fitzgibbon here.
Well, here's a late twist.
Joey, we have a captain's challenge. The on-field ruling is Hamoli's taken a defender off unfairly. They believe there was prior foul play.
Bit to look at here.
Yeah, well, he took a disliking to something, Matty Olakau'atu. He came flying in and just threw off Fitzgibbon.
There's nothing in the lead-up. Hamoli Olakau'atu grabs Lachlan Fitzgibbon, who doesn't have the ball, and pulls him out of the tackle. The challenge is unsuccessful.
So Lockie Fitzgibbon just had an arm up around the neck, chin of Daly Cherry, but there didn't appear to be any.
No, and Anthony Seibold is filthy. Like, they've worked so hard. Remind people that have just started watching the game that it was 28-16 to Newcastle. They had worked so hard to get back into the game, Manly, and get themselves in front. And in great field position midway through an attacking set, Olakau'atu does this.
Yeah, 28-16 in the 59th minute.
Yeah.
Favour.
And it was all Newcastle. It was all Newcastle.
In the comeback, And now they invite a late twist. They're at the wrong end of the ground for the time being, the Knights. Does Saifiti give them some go forward? Not a huge run from Daniel. Hastings to Crossland. Tyson Frizzell. It goes through the hands to Gagai down the sideline. He's running out of room. Has to throw the ball back in field, and Frizzell gets there in time. 2 plays left. Crossland. Here's Jack Johns. Room now. Bradman Best accelerating. And there's Harper up around the neck. Ball and all tackle. Last play. Crossland. It'll be a kick and hope across the ground. Out towards Dom Young. Flies high and gets there. Dominic Young gets 4 for the day. Young, the aerial expert, the man for a crisis. Adam O'Brien feels a lot better now. The kick from Crossland gives a 4th try to Dom Young.
Yeah, misdirected pass from dummy half on the final play finds Phoenix Crossland, and what a kick it is. Lands it right on the try line. Here's the run from Gagai. He did well just to keep the ball in. Went so close to the sideline, keeps his feet in just somehow, Frizzell. And there is Phoenix Crossland, who just drives it across field. And it was Garrick and Young in a shootout. And Young, who has had a tremendous day, 4 tries. The Newcastle winger flies high above, comes down with it perfectly, and puts the footy right on the line, and a chance now for Newcastle.
Well done there by Phoenix Crossland to come on. If you have a look at that replay, Jackson Hastings was right in position. It was beautiful. He said, get out of the way, I'll take this one. The crossfield kick. And Young, what a finisher he is. Great leap.
So Lachlan Fitzgibbon has this kick to give Newcastle the lead. He's nailed both today to go 5 from 7 for the season. Arriving at Newcastle from Cronulla, from a small regular first grade rugby league, scoring tries, assisting tries as well.
This is what they play for.
Now he wants to be a winning goal kicker.
He's going to need to start it well outside the right-hand post. We saw Ruben Garrick with a couple of shots in the first half, and the ball just turned away towards that left-hand side.
Remember, Newcastle haven't won back-to-back games since the first 2 rounds last year. They're trying to find the front here. Lockie Miller has pulled it across the face. He called it perfectly, Michael Ennis, and the dueling fans sideline might have a few more minutes to navigate here.
Golden Point thriller in Mudgee. The Wembley of the West is about to go into Golden Point.
Manly headed to Golden Point for the 2nd consecutive weekend. Last week against South Sydney, it was 12-all at full time. Lachlan Elias cruelled them in a 13-12 defeat. Here they are 32-all with Newcastle, 47 seconds left.
Well, how big does that penalty from Olakau'atu become? It was an enormous moment. Sinbind, they scored 2 tries today with him off the field, and then some poor discipline just invited Newcastle down the other end.
Olakau'atu, try scorer, he's done some good things, but that is a big moment in this game. That penalty conceded, inviting Newcastle down the field. Croker out there playing the ball. Miller. It's 6 tries each. Hastings.
He's not.
Beats Parker. Goes long down the ground. It rolls away from Tom Trbojevic. So full-time sounds. Tom Trbojevic will have the final possession of regulation. And for the 4th time this season, we are going to Golden Point.
And Golden Point for the 2nd week in a row for the Manly side.
Yeah, good.
Beaten last week.
Not a single person's left the ground. Tom Trbojevic just taking no chances at all. They can't believe it, Manly. They worked so hard from 28-16 down to Seabolt and Flanagan, just planning how to handle this Golden Point, but deep inside they'd be livid, absolutely livid that they're in this position.
Let's have a look at the way that we got to Golden Point. Manly leading at 32-28. Then this kick from Phoenix Crossland. Take it away, blocker.
Oh, how good is that try? He's been absolutely outstanding here this afternoon. Dominic Young out-jumps his opposition there in Ruben Garrick. The Manly side arrived just a little bit too late. And he's a good finisher, this bloke.
Just watching Jackson Hastings looking up at the coach's box here to Adam O'Brien, signalling that they want to go right to left. So they must feel that there's either some breeze behind them or they've had better success going towards the northern end of the oval here. But he was adamant. He was adamant in his conversations with Adam O'Brien, who's riding every moment as always. There's no nails left, Adam.
Well,
shoot them all off.
I hope he doesn't know that. I hope he doesn't know that Newcastle has the worst Golden Point record in history. They've won only 3 of their 15 trips to Golden Point, but here's the twist. 2 of those wins have been against Manly. A Scotty Duro field goal in 2008, a Mitch Pearce field goal in 2018. So they might be bad at Golden Point, the Knights, but they're good at Golden Point against the Sea Eagles. Well, make sense of that, Michael.
It was about this time of year where Jackson Hastings last year for the Tigers against Parramatta Easter weekend, which is next weekend, landed the Tigers' first win of the season with a belting field goal. Cherry Evans, well, he's one of the masters, isn't he? One of the masters. He'll be the man that Manly are looking to.
Well, they've gone with the breeze, haven't they? Looks like they've won the toss, the Newcastle Knights.
We've touched on Daly Cherry Evans' 26 career field goals.
Unbelievable.
In 25 games for 23 wins. Well, in the Newcastle lineup, career field goals, Gamble 2, Hastings 2. And of course, Gamble not out there because of that HIA inside the final 15 minutes of regulation time. So is Hastings the man for Newcastle and Daly Cherry Evans for Manly? Or is there a trick option for either side? Enjoy Golden Point from the Golden West in Mudgee. Next up, St George Illawarra against the Dolphins. Here's Croker. Over halfway. Wasn't it Watts from Alloy? Last play, Hastings. They're not in field goal territory, so Hastings nudges us out towards Ruben Garrick.
They're not taking any chances there, Jackson Hastings. Not a lot of depth on the kick. Manly will like that. Jake Trbojevic from Manly looks like he's going to go the distance today. Phenomenal for a middle forward. Hasn't had a rest all day. He's worked through the middle. His effort plays have been huge.
Tom Trbojevic lobbing it over the top. Here's Morgan Harper taking good metres. Crossland low with Marzu over the top. They get back towards halfway mid-set. Olakau'atu.
They might get a chance here. Cherry Evans.
Look at him just hovering behind the ruck here. Great
Paseka accelerates.
Here we go.
Puts them in position. Daly Cherry Evans waits on the right. Instead, he'll kick, putting it in the air out towards Marzu. Lockie Miller instead racing through, casually taking the bomb. That could have been a mix-up.
I thought he would have went for it then.
So did I. So did I, Block. That was a great run from Paseka and a good play the ball too.
Did he not like the distance and not want to give them a 7-tackle set? But he looked set, didn't he?
He's had a big second half, hasn't he? Lockie Miller.
Here's Bradman Best. So who's going to get in position first? Some would argue that Manly have already found position. Croker, nice and direct, takes a good tackle. Trbojevic low.
Let's see if he puts a bit more on this kick.
Over the top, and Croker stayed down. Hastings, again going high rather than long, not wanting to risk a bounce and a 7-tackle set to the opposition.
Tackle one.
He's coming from the field, Matt Croker. This was brutal from Jake Trbojevic. Like the timing and the technique.
Yep.
Just counting his ribs on the way off.
Mate, he's in deep trouble. And you don't like to see it, but watch the technique here. Talk about cut in half. Bang, just hit him right under the rib cage, and then coming from the inside. Helmet to a
50 tackles last week for Jake Trbojevic. That was number 40 today. His 40th was maybe his best.
So good.
Tuolangi. Yep. The ribs are still being realigned. Josh Aloiai.
Good carry that. They need a big power carry here. Here comes Paseka.
Two plays left. Tom Trbojevic. So they find themselves in a similar position to the previous set. Tom just walks forward a few more metres. Daly Cherry Evans again, the same option. Out towards Marziu, along with Miller. There's a mix-up this time. There nearly was a moment ago. Marziu dives. He's going to be just into the field of play. Oh, that was a car accident waiting to happen.
Well, how did he recover from that?
Great run there, Lockie Miller. Look at that, 12 metres off his try line. Can you believe this?
I thought a moment ago, gee, those two have a good understanding. Well, maybe not. Saifiti.
Good carry that.
Johns. Another solid stop.
Who is
and
it?
Again, that's tackle 41.
You don't even have to look to see who is there.
The last two may be his best two. Jackson Hastings down the ground. It's Rugby League rewind at the moment. The same plays unfolding. Hastings kicking out towards the eastern wing.
They are out on their feet.
Cherry Evans kicking towards the western wing of Newcastle.
What a game.
Players absolutely out on their feet here. Marziu and Best struggling just to get back on side.
Olakau'atu 8 short of halfway. The petrol warning lights have come on.
Weeks.
KO Weeks. Prominent in that comeback surge by Manly. Late in regulation time. Now Daly Cherry Evans goes straight through, cut down from behind. Gagai it was. A try saver perhaps. Croker now. Croker goes very close. Chris Butler says change it over. They go within a whisker.
Wow.
85 minutes in and about 4 blades of grass. Stop Manly wrapping it up right there.
Gee, that was nice work there from Cherry Evans on the previous play. Looked like he was going to split them. Anthony Seabolt just driving his information down to the sideline. And here's Croker out of dummy half. Leo Thompson unable to get back on side. And just sheer desperation there from the Newcastle players. Miller there again.
I tell you what, the rest of Super Saturday has something to live up to. Off to Wollongong very shortly. Dragons, Dolphins, and then to Suncorp Stadium, the unbeaten Broncos. Do they go 5-0 for the first time since 1998? That's ahead. But first, given how close Manly came right there, who is going to go that little bit closer and seize the moment in Mudgee?
I don't know.
Well,
Matty, it's just gone end to end all afternoon. And just when you think Newcastle are getting on top, Manly come back. When Manly get on top, you think they find a way back.
What was the amazing thing for me in that extra time period there was Daly Cherry Evans was 30 out in perfect position.
2 or 3 times.
And kicked across field. Is he injured?
Right. Players now getting set. It'll be Newcastle to kick off. And I mean, if there is any assistance at all, Newcastle opted for it in the first section of Golden Point. Now Manly have it. I like the injection of Weeks. Looks sharp around the ruck. He's speed against some of the tiring forwards. And not a single person has left the ground.
5 lead changes, thrilling the fans in at Mudgee. There are Republicans in the centre of town saying, where is everybody? We expect them to be here by now. What's going on? Well, we've stayed for some Golden Point, and aren't we enjoying it on Fox League? Back to our original point, both of these teams unbeaten in Mudgee. Manly 2 from 2. Newcastle successful in their only outing. Who's going to stay unbeaten here and take the 2 premiership points? Or do we get to the end of Golden Point and call it a draw?
No, we can't. We need a result here. It's been too good a game.
Jake Trbojevic. And now Cherry Evans trying to spin away from Braden and Best. Crossland goes low and finishes the tackle off. Well, what's the play? Is it an error? Is it a penalty? Is it a break that puts a team in field goal position? Remarkable, we had no shots at field goal in the first period of Golden Point. How often do we see that? Now Daly Cherry Evans kicking from 10 metres his own side of halfway. And Miller almost through. Taniela Paseka. That's a big tackle from the starting front row forward. Now Hastings trying to catch Kelma Tuolangi offside.
Definitely going to get a shot at field goal here, Newcastle.
Young, the 4-try star. What about his day? Not named in the team originally. And he comes to Mudgee and finishes with 4. That play was more sideways than forward.
Absolutely. What were they doing, Newcastle?
Thompson. Is it now? Lockie Miller standing in behind the ruck. Hastings positions himself. Jackson Hastings, the kick deflected. It falls for Croker. They get it at the 20-metre line. Tuolangi slips and through quickly.
Yeah, it was Tom Trebojevic and Josh Aloiai. Massive play from Josh Aloiai there. Getting the charge down, ricocheted back to Croker. Manly survivors. Bullimore comes onto the field for Paseka.
Likewise, big play from Gagai to shut Tuolangi down before he took cheap metres. Dane looking to celebrate game 250 with a win. Well, they're all being made to earn it.
Great carry, look at this.
Bullimore it is, surging forward Ethan Bullimore. That's tackle 5. Daly Cherry Evans waits on the right. Here he is again, their conductor, their match winner, driving it to the left on this occasion.
Now, who was that got to him too?
Leo
Just put him
Thompson.
off. Effort play, that one.
7 tackles now for Newcastle. 7 tackles will give them a shot, you would think, at field goal.
Thompson, well, he's run out of petrol. He was just tackled 20 metres out. And now Best, not a lot of go forward there either.
Here he is, though.
Miller.
He's their meter reader. He's been enormous again this afternoon. Over 200 metres.
Was around the ankles. It was a dodgy play of the ball, let's call it that. Legal, but a little wobbly. Play allowed to continue. Hastings. Jack Johns.
Made a big carry here. Here he comes, Marju. Yep.
And he's met.
Here we
Upping
go.
away from one. Still going. Greg Marzu.
Here it comes.
It was Jake Trebojevic to stop him. Jackson Hastings feigns to kick once again. It's charged down.
Who's
Look
there?
at the pickup. What about that slips catch from a man who's made more than 40 tackles and played every minute? He is a machine, Jake Trebojevic.
Yeah, he's not human. He's just not human, Jake Trebojevic, what he's getting through out there in the middle today. Cherry Evans came out hard on that right foot, then dived and lunged at the kick from Hastings. Tom Trebojevic carrying now. Here we go, Manly pressing for a field goal.
So we've had 3 failed field goal attempts.
Where's Bullimore? He's a man. Leg speed in behind the ruck.
Instead, it's Garrick Blocker. Taking tackle 5, 35 out. Daly Cherry Evans looking for the 2-point field goal. Any point will do. That one's poor, and it Grubbers dead in goal. 40 seconds left. They have played themselves to a standstill. That old rugby league cliche, summing it up best right here.
I still feel something's going to happen. It's not over yet. Someone's from Newcastle here. He's going to try something.
The last Golden Point draw, round 3, 2020, and Newcastle was involved. Penrith against Newcastle. The Fox Sports Lab all over this. Brayley.
2 more plays.
Brody Jones didn't have a lot of go forward. Jackson Hastings, he's a long way out. He gets it high and long, but just wide of the mark. It was his best strike of the day. Tom Trebojevic gets away from Dong Young. Hang on, hang on. Golden point has expired. Ruben Garrick takes the tackle. What a game in Mudgee. What rugby league we have seen. And for the first time since round 3, 2020, we have an NRL draw. Take a bow, Newcastle. Likewise, Manly. It has been thrilling from kick-off to full-time. Fantastic tries, length of the field action, brilliant defence, Iron Man performances, failed field goal attempts, and at the end of it all, we'll share the premiership points.
Yeah, players just out on their feet. The skill that we've seen in Mudgee today, it's been awesome here. Down at ground level, the track was so fast, and you just got the feeling when we came here today we were going to see plenty of points. And boy, we've seen some great tries. We've seen some incredible effort moments from players. And at the moment, here's the strike from Hastings right on the end of Golden Point full time. I thought for a moment Dom Young was going to go the one-on-one strip with Tom Trbojevic. Hastings' face as it agonisingly drifts right of the post, and the players just out on their feet.
Out on their feet indeed, but still able to stand beside and talk to Lara Pitt.